If you're over 40 and your belly fat is winning, your workouts have stopped working, and you crash 45 minutes after every meal, there's one mineral that fixes all of these things 71% better than cutting carbs ever will. And 9 out of every 10 Americans don't have enough of it. Most people with these problems are told the same thing. It's just the carbohydrates, or it's your hormones, or just the fact that you're getting older. But the real problem is that your cells have stopped listening to insulin. And one specific mineral is the primary reason the signal isn't getting through. I'm Dr. William, a practicing board-certified primary care physician here in the United States, and today I'm going to walk you through the hidden mineral deficiency quietly destroying your metabolism. Why your insulin can be screaming and your cells just won't pick up the phone. And the three-layered protocol I teach my own patients to fix this problem starting tonight. Now the problems that you are having don't have to do with what you're eating. And let me explain. When you eat a meal, about 80% of the sugar that leaves your bloodstream doesn't go to your brain or your liver, it goes to your muscles. Your muscles are the single biggest sugar-clearing organ in your entire body. So when people say insulin resistance, what's really happening is something called hyperinsulinemia, which just means chronically high insulin levels. Your pancreas is still pumping out insulin just fine, but the problem is your cells aren't listening. And here's the scary part. The Whitehall 2 study showed you can have full-blown insulin resistance for 6 to 14 years before your blood sugar or your A1C ever changes on a lab report. By the time the lab actually catches it, the fire has been brewing for a decade. This is why I tell my patients, if you have stubborn belly fat, post-meal crashes, brain fog, or even rising blood pressure, the problem has really started long before you ever saw any number move. Here's the part about insulin resistance that nobody truly explains. Every one of your cells has tiny receptor sites on its surface, like little doorways for hormones to attach to. Insulin's job is simple. It floats through your blood, knocks on the doorways, and tells your cells to open up so sugar can come inside and get used for energy. Think of insulin like a phone call to the warehouse. Your muscles are the warehouse, and the sugar is the cargo sitting outside on the truck. The only way that cargo gets in is if someone inside picks up the phone and opens the loading dock doors. But here's the catch. The phone can't ring at all without one key mineral, and that key mineral is magnesium. Without enough magnesium, two things break down at the same time. Number one, the phone never rings. Insulin signal can't even register at the door. And number two, even if it could, the loading dock doors won't open. And your body's response when the cargo can't get unloaded, it stores the sugar as fat. That's the entire reason why your belly fat is winning. This phenomenon hits people, specifically after age 40, much harder than it does younger individuals for three primary reasons. The first reason, and the unfortunate reality, is that you've been losing muscle for about a decade. Less muscle means fewer warehouses, fewer loading docks, and less room to clear sugar. By age 80, you can lose up to 40% of all the muscles in your thighs, one of the biggest muscles in the whole body. Number two is that your mitochondria are disappearing. These are the little energy factories inside every cell. They run on two main fuel types, amino acids and minerals like magnesium. Your body can make amino acids, but minerals, every single one has to come from food. And the third reason is modern food isn't delivering. Soil has been depleted for generations. Even organic, healthy food carries a fraction of the magnesium that it had just 30 to 50 years ago. So you can be eating all the right things and still running on empty. Think of it like running a factory. Workers are leaving, which is muscle loss. The lights are dimming, which is equivalent to mitochondria dying, and the raw materials aren't being shipped in. You have mineral-depleted food. No wonder the whole operation is breaking down. I want to talk about another key player in this whole process, and that's vitamin D. I'm sure you've been told at some point in your life to take vitamin D. Everyone has. But the vitamin D that you take in supplement form is inactive. Your body actually has to convert it twice before it's actively used by your own body's physiology. The thing is, though, magnesium interacts with vitamin D and actually makes the vitamin D work more efficiently in the body. Why does this even matter? There was a study done on adults with prediabetes. They were divided into two groups. The first group had their vitamin D properly activated, and the second group did not have their vitamin D properly activated. The first group with properly activated vitamin D, thanks to magnesium, only had a 3% progression to type 2 diabetes, whereas the control group had 28% of those individuals go on to develop type 2 diabetes. That's not a small difference. That's a 9x reduction, but it only happens when magnesium is in the picture. In addition to this, a study published in the Journal of Nutrients followed people with metabolic syndrome for a full year. The group with the highest magnesium intake had a 71% lower risk of worsening insulin resistance. And a meta-analysis of 13 prospective cohort studies over 536,000 people were looked at found that higher magnesium intake was tied to a 22% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And every 100 milligrams per day increase dropped the risk by another 14%. Honestly, this is one of the most consistently underrated nutrients in all of medicine. So, this is the three-layered protocol that I teach my own patients in order for you to get enough magnesium into your body. Layer 1 is to replace the mineral itself. You want to aim for 400 to 500 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day. And the thing is, the type matters more than people realize. You want to avoid poor absorbing cheap forms like magnesium oxide and magnesium citrate, and you want to focus on magnesium glycinate as this absorbs really well. It has a calming effect, and it pairs beautifully with sleep. Another good form is magnesium threonate, as this crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it's helpful if you deal with extra brain fog related to magnesium deficiencies. If you want the best and most affordable versions of both magnesium glycinate and magnesium threonate on Amazon, I'll put a link to those in the description below. As a bonus to get more magnesium into your body, you can soak in Epsom salt baths 2 to 3 times a week for about 20 minutes. If you're a bath person, this is really enticing. The magnesium absorbs straight through your skin into the body. Now, one detail that most people miss is that if your sodium is too low, which is very common on a lower carbohydrate diet, or if you do intermittent fasting, you actually excrete magnesium faster. You want to add a pinch of real sea salt to your water, as this helps hold on to what you're putting in. Layer 2 is what I call the bypass. And honestly, this is the piece that changes everything. Muscle contraction can move sugar directly into your cells without the need for insulin at all. The way to train your muscles to take up more glucose after every meal is to do two things. First, take a 10-minute walk after your meals. This isn't considered cardio. It's just opening up the loading docks manually. And secondly, you want to try to do 2 short sprints twice a week. You can go 20 seconds all out and 90 seconds rest for 3 rounds. If your knees can't handle running, do it on a bike or swimming or even a fast walk uphill. Both of these things will train your muscles to take glucose up naturally. And layer 3 is recovery. I want you to take your magnesium right before bed. That's it. The overnight window is when your muscles repair, when you burn fat, when your insulin sensitivity resets, and when your body releases growth hormone. Magnesium before bed amplifies every single one of those. You don't need any elaborate stacks or complicated regimens. You just need the right mineral at the right time. So here's the order that I'd start with. Starting tonight, take 480 milligrams of magnesium glycinate before bed. Tomorrow, take a 10-minute walk after your biggest meal of the day. Sometime this week, add a pinch of sea salt to your water and add an Epsom bath on Sunday. And next week, add 2 short sprint sessions. I guarantee that if you stick to this for 30 days consistently, your energy, your belly, and your blood sugar will all move in the right direction. I've literally watched this happen hundreds of times with my own patients. If you learned something new in this video, please consider subscribing, as it really does help push this message out to the people that may need to hear it the most. Also, if you want a full step-by-step plan that shows you exactly how to reverse insulin resistance, lower your A1C, and finally take control of your metabolic health,